All right, over the last half hour, news breaking about Anthony Richardson here being allowed to look for a new place of business. What do you know about that?
That was probably inevitable, I would say. 3 years in, all the injuries, the really unfortunate circumstance last year where a resistance band accident in pregame warmups leaves him with a serious injury to his orbital socket and his eye. We don't yet know firmly where we stand in terms of the medical with Anthony Richardson. Everything the Colts have said publicly is he's continuing to progress. He was able to practice a little bit, but it's one thing saying you can get back out on the field or do conditioning or throw the ball around. It's completely different to can you go and play quarterback at a high level. It's also the reality of Anthony Richardson knows he has no path to be the starter in Indianapolis again.
Even with Daniel Jones having an Achilles injury that may or may not have him ready in week 1?
Everything is tracking toward Daniel Jones being ready for week 1.
Okay.
The Colts have been in negotiations on a contract extension, a multi-year deal to keep Daniel Jones there, which shows you they're not sitting there going, well, maybe Anthony can beat him out. That was last year. It didn't happen. This is full steam ahead. Maybe more likely that it's a tag, at least initially, on Daniel Jones, but they've been trying to do a long-term deal. So if you're Anthony Richardson, you're at a point like Trey Lance was with the 49ers,
right,
where Trey Lance was drafted number 3, Richardson was number 4, a lot of injuries, hadn't played, super talented guy. And we've seen that with Trey when he got in the preseason with Dallas, what he looked like last year with the Chargers. If you're Anthony Richardson, you're hoping that's your trajectory is just get me someplace else where I can settle in, not have the pressure on me. I think he's 23, 24 years old. I mean, he's a young guy who's 6'5" and 250 and has a massive cannon of an arm. Just get me somewhere else where maybe the dynamic's a little bit different and I'm not the guy who was supposed to be the guy and I'm not. Now it's a fun project for somebody. And you know that and not saying he goes to these teams, but the Sean McVays, Kyle Shanahan's, Kevin O'Connell's of the world, they love Matt LaFleur too. Look what he did with Malik Willis.
Right.
All those guys, if you got somebody with a ton of physical ability, let's put him in a good system with really good coaching and see what we can get out of him, assuming that at some point he's fully cleared and all the way back from a medical perspective.
And when Ben Johnson was on the podium, we're hearing, Tyson Bagent's name being mentioned, right?
Well, makes sense.
That's the reason why I'm bringing it up is, are teams going to be looking at other teams' number 2s to say, let's get you in our program, let's give you a chance to compete for a starter's job, rather than wait for Tua or Kyler to clear? Wondering if they're going to clear. I'm wondering where we're going here.
I believe this all
on the quarterback front.
It all fits together. You have a draft where Fernando Mendoza, we all assume and believe he's going number 1 to the Raiders. After that, the only other quarterback that somebody might think can be a starter sooner than later is probably Ty Simpson from Alabama. And even that one, he's a 1-year starter. There's some growth that needs to take place for him to get ready.
Right.
So if you're one of the 7 to 10 teams, I'd say 7 firmly that need a starter. There's probably a half dozen more that at least need a compete guy or somebody who could step in or a really good one underneath a young player. You're having to tip over all these different buckets. There's not hey, we'll go draft Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. We'll take, Tyler Shuck and have him come in and compete with Spencer Rattler. Those guys don't exist in this draft. And so you have this unique combination of, other than Malik Willis, who I do believe is going to get somewhere between $20 and $30 million a year, I would say between Miami and Arizona, maybe somebody else, the price is going to get driven up. We had John Eric Sullivan on, and he said, my gut tells me it will not be cheap. So there is a price point for Malik Willis. Other than that, and Daniel Jones, obviously, who they're trying to get something done with, I don't know that any other, and Aaron Rodgers is in a different category entirely.
Sure.
There's not another guy who's going to get paid. So you're talking through a bunch of budget-type options. Tyson Bagent is a budget-type option. I don't know what the price would be in a trade. I would have to think it's not a throwaway. He's a really good backup. Is it a 3rd-round pick for Tyson Bagent to potentially go get him? Mac Jones, same thing. It's not going to be a giveaway. I do believe the 49ers, regardless of what's been said publicly, would move Mac Jones at a certain point, but that, too, might require a day 2 pick. You're sort of in this at Richardson, Will Levis. There's guys who have started games in this league. You have almost a competition between which of the budget options is going to be the best one and becomes available first. Mm-hmm. And if you're a team that might be a less desirable situation, you might not be able to get one of these veterans. This is an important thing to understand because of the 4 to 5 veteran quarterbacks that could be cut in the next 2 weeks here between Kirk Cousins, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, Geno Smith, and Justin Fields doesn't have an early trigger, but he does have guaranteed money. Mm-hmm. When you have quarterbacks who have guaranteed money, or any player with guaranteed money, when they become free agents, the money doesn't matter. You can't bid on the player unless you're paying them above and beyond what their guarantees are. In other words, let's say all those guys get cut tomorrow. Where are they going to want to go? No one's going to sit there probably, I don't think, and go, my first choice is going to the New York Jets. Your first choice is probably going to a team like the Vikings that has Justin Jefferson and Kevin O'Connell, who, sprinkles magic dust on quarterbacks, and they all of a sudden play really well underneath him. I mean, that's been the track record for him. You might have to trade something to get one of those guys. You might have to trade something to go get Kyler because you're not going to have the opportunity to pluck him off the street. It's a really unique thing where we could have 4 or 5 quarterbacks with a ton of starts who all have guaranteed money and are all signing for minimum salaries, which means there's no such thing as a bidding war. It's literally the players choosing where they want to go. And oh, by the way, if some team does work out a trade to eat some of the money, if the player doesn't want to go there, he can go, I'm not signing the revised contract, and can blow up any trade. It's really fascinating because we've never seen a quarterback group quite like what we're going to be dealing with over these next couple of weeks.
So all the machinations happen in the next 3 weeks, right?
Essentially.
Or what are the odds that all of this doesn't pop before the 2 days that you're allowed to talk before the new league year starts? What about that?
Kyler has an additional $19.5 million that vests if he's still on the roster March 15th. Tua has, I believe, another $3 million that vests if he's on the roster March 13th. Kirk Cousins, we already know he's getting released. He's going to be released on March 11th based on the revised contract. Geno Smith also has, I believe, an extra $8 million that becomes fully guaranteed on the third day of the league year. So March 13th, March 15th, more than likely March 11th, 12th, you're going to see these things begin to happen. The only question within the league, and the only threat, frankly, that the teams have that have these quarterbacks is, we'll just keep them. We'll do what the Falcons did last year. Let that extra $10 million vest for Kirk Cousins and keep a really high-priced backup until you give us something for him. Well, how that worked out with the Falcons is they've got a completely new regime, and that regime is still on the hook for $10 million of Kirk Cousins this year. It's rare. It's not unprecedented, but it's rare for a player you know is not going to be there for you to go, we're going to let a bunch of additional fully guaranteed money vest.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.